How do you respond when the establishment you created from the ground up receives glowing 5-star accolades for its service, yet faces harsh 1-star critiques regarding its cuisine? That question struck Trent Saunders with the force of a gut punch. He began with a modest burger joint 12 years ago. One solitary grill, a weathered soda machine, and an aspiration. He now boasts 11 locations across 3 states, offering fast, casual comfort food executed perfectly. That was the commitment, yet recently something felt off. It began with a handful of peculiar critiques. A wonderful team, but the flavor of my chicken was off. The atmosphere was fantastic, yet there was an issue with my fries. A message arrived from a loyal customer of many years. This was once my favorite place, but my last visit left me feeling unwell. Trent sensed a lack of urgency in his district manager's words, prompting him to investigate the situation on his own. He chose Store 6, a mid-range spot nestled in a bustling suburb. It fell somewhere in the middle, neither excelling nor failing. Dramatically, merely ordinary, subdued. That was his concern. He had yet to encounter the majority of the team present. The local manager had taken charge of hiring, and since the onset of COVID, he had leaned significantly on video calls and regional updates. His face was a mystery to all, and since those early days he had shed some weight, trimmed his beard, and now sported glasses. Wearing a standard name tag and a worn-out uniform, he resembled just another newcomer testing the waters of a low-paying job. "Hey," a woman in her late 20s called out as he entered through the back door. "Welcome aboard. I see you're the new trainee. My name is Shayna. Allow me to guide you through this space." Trent acknowledged your previous experience in the food industry with a nod. Indeed, a few. It hasn't happened in a while. She provided him with a brief overview of the kitchen layout: fryer, grill, cold prep, freezer. A young man named Matt was at the register. A seasoned man with a booming voice, Toby, was in charge of the kitchen. A teenage girl, perhaps 17, was slicing tomatoes with an intensity that suggested her very existence hinged on the task. Paul, the manager, had not arrived yet. "He arrives after hours," Shayna remarked. Typically, following the lunch rush, he departs early as well, prompting Trent to raise an eyebrow. "Is that typical?" She let out a humorless chuckle. "I'm just doing my job, you know." The transition began gradually. With deft hands, Trent sliced through the onions, meticulously cleaned the trays, and thoughtfully restocked the cups. Ordinary matters. However, by midday the queue reached the entrance. "Order up!" Toby called out from the back. He worked, swiftly assembling burgers and wings with precision, yet there was an unsettling feeling in the air. Trent observed Toby as he retrieved a bag of chicken from both the wok and the cooler. The aroma struck him intensely, a blend of sour and nearly sweet notes. "Hey, Toby," Trent murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. "The aroma of that chicken is quite off-putting." Toby continued on without pause. "Everything is all right." "It has. That scent after marinating," Trent frowned. "You could very well be past your prime." Toby forcefully placed the tray on the table. "You are aware. I have been honing my culinary skills for a longer time than your entire existence. Are you trying to instruct me on how to perform my work?" Trent hesitated, a knot forming in his stomach. He cast a fleeting look at the young girl, Emily. The name tag revealed the identity of the person now cleaning the counter. She appeared anxious, as if she had caught wind of the conversation. Once the lunch rush had subsided, Trent found her, by the sink. "Greetings, Emily. Does that chicken Toby used always have that smell?" She surveyed her surroundings, her voice scarcely rising above a whisper. "At times." Just last week, a patron expressed dissatisfaction, claiming their sandwich had an unpleasant sour taste. Shana confided in Paul, yet nothing shifted. Trent's jaw tightened. "And they continued to serve it," she acknowledged. Toby mentioned that it's perfectly acceptable, as long as you cook it for an adequate amount of time. That night, Trent returned to his car, settled into the driver's seat, and gazed at the steering wheel for an extended moment. His heart raced with intensity. He wasn't merely upset, he was seething with anger. Beyond that, a deep sense of failure weighed heavily on him. This company was established on the foundations of trust and quality. In the kitchen, someone was disregarding fundamental food safety practices, and those in higher positions were failing to intervene. He glanced at the rear-view mirror. His disguise was effective. He remained unrecognized by all, and tomorrow he would return. Yet this time, he would take an active role. He was determined to excavate. The following morning, Trent arrived 10 minutes ahead of schedule. He donned the same worn uniform, the same name tag, and maintained a low profile as he slipped in through the back door. The kitchen was enveloped in a heavy haze of fryer oil, mingling with an elusive metallic scent that eluded his identification. Shana was already present, fastening her apron with one hand while perusing the prep list with the other. She spoke. Without glancing at him, her voice laced with surprise. "I didn't think you'd return. What's the reason for that?" Trent inquired, reaching for a pair of gloves from the dispenser. Many newcomers either vanish or become disillusioned with Toby's demeanor by the second day. At last, her eyes met his. "You seem to be either quite resolute or lacking in funds." "Perhaps a combination of both," he remarked. With a swift nod, she gestured toward the prep station. "The egg salad and slaw require some final touches. Put on your gloves and avoid using the slicer. It's broken once more." Trent settled into his task, meticulously slicing boiled eggs with precision. The prep table teetered a bit, one leg supported by a small pile of napkins. He observed a brown stain on the edge of the cutting board, old and dried, clearly overlooked during the last cleaning. By 11:30, there were 3 individuals working in the kitchen. Toby, as always, silently claimed the hot side. A fresh presence emerged. Lewis, a tall figure in his early 20s, reserved yet nimble with his hands. Emily was back at the front, prep station, skillfully dicing onions, her sleeves rolled up and earbuds in place, fully immersed in her task. At precisely noon, Paul, the store manager, made his entrance. He donned a polo shirt that appeared meticulously pressed, with sunglasses perched atop his head. Without a glance at anyone, he strode through the kitchen, making his way directly to the office. After 5 minutes of waiting, Trent finally turned. To Shana. "Is Paul typically lingering back there throughout the day?" Shana offered a subtle shrug. "Unless someone speaks up or a customer gets upset at the register, indeed. Does he conduct any inspections on the food?" "Only if we inquire, and even then. It varies with his mood." Trent sensed his jaw clench, yet he maintained a steady tone. "That appears to be quite a gamble." Shana remained silent. She simply averted her gaze and began to clean the counter with deliberate motions. At 1:15, a customer returned their grilled chicken sandwich. Matt, the cashier, entered with it in hand, extending it toward Toby. "A guy mentions that it has an odor reminiscent of vinegar and rubber." Toby grabbed the sandwich, gave it a quick sniff, and then discarded it into the trash. "Inform him that we will recreate it. The grills are sizzling with heat." Matt paused, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. "Should we take a look at the chicken packs?" Toby remained silent. A fresh fillet was already sizzling on the grill. Trent moved in closer. "Honestly, we ought to take the chicken out and verify the dates." Toby brought the spatula down with a forceful thud. "Didn't I mention yesterday that I have everything managed? You mentioned that marinated chicken has a sweet aroma. This lacks sweetness. It has taken a turn for the worse." Toby faced him, his voice elevated. "You are in the early stages of your journey. You have no right to challenge the way I manage my affairs." Louis lifted his gaze from the bubbling fryer. Emily paused, her slicing glancing back and forth between them. Trent remained unperturbed. "I have no doubts about your abilities. Serving spoiled food endangers people's health. It is non-negotiable." Toby tossed the spatula into the sink with a flick of his wrist. "It seems you have some reservations about our approach. Step outside." Silence enveloped the kitchen. Even the sizzle of the fryer appeared to diminish. Matt entered the scene. "I can retrieve the chicken packs." "I have a moment." Toby erupted. "You don't embody food safety. You are registered." "Focus on your own path." Trent fixed his gaze on him. "Your work is complete. Move away from the line." Toby let out a derisive laugh. "Do you really believe you have the authority to dictate my actions?" Trent locked eyes with him, his voice unwavering. "Indeed, I am capable." He approached the office, rapped on the door once, and then pushed it open without hesitation. Paul sat at the desk, enjoying his iced coffee while casually scrolling through content on his tablet. "Do you need something?" he inquired, his gaze fixed elsewhere. Trent closed the door softly, sealing off the world outside. "Indeed, please step outside and observe the situation unfolding in your kitchen." Paul glanced upward, his irritation evident. "Could you remind me who you are? I'm the person who observed your line cook serve meat that had an ammonia-like odor on 2 occasions." Paul reclined, his arms folded across his chest. "Toby has been here for 4 years. He is well aware of his actions. So what's causing customers to return their food? What's with the grime on your prep table? What happened to the slicer? And why hasn't anyone submitted a maintenance request?" Paul fell silent for a moment. "It's important to remain within your designated pay level, my friend. Your role is to focus on chopping onions, not managing the store." Trent advanced with purpose. "I'm the one who runs this business. My name is Trent Saunders. Would you like to take a look at my ID?" Paul's complexion faded to a ghostly hue. He rose to his feet briefly, only to settle back down again. "I wasn't aware you were going to show." No, that wasn't the case. That is precisely the essence." Trent swung the door open and beckoned Shana inside. She hesitated at the doorway, casting a look at Paul. "Please assist me in retrieving the chicken packs from the cooler and organizing the dates accordingly. Don't forget to bring Louis along. Matt is able to remain at the register. I will handle Toby." She gave a brief nod and departed. Paul spoke once more, his voice now hushed. "This store operates efficiently. We've experienced some turnover. I find it impossible to be in multiple places simultaneously. It's not necessary to be present in every place. All it takes is a little concern. Based on my observations, it appears that you do not." In the kitchen, Toby paced restlessly by the back sink. "You're genuinely committed to this?" he inquired, his tone tinged with skepticism. "The food you served had the potential to cause illness." A customer complaint was overlooked. 2. Employees were let go for voicing their safety concerns. That's not an error. That is a clear oversight. Toby surveyed the remaining members of the crew. He received no defense from anyone. Trent declared, "You're finished here." Toby snatched his bag and burst out the back, leaving silence in his wake. Trent glanced at the others. "If you need a moment, now is the time to take it. We will thoroughly clean this kitchen from top to bottom before the dinner rush. Next, we'll collaborate to refine the process." Shana was the one to speak first. "Should we reach out to corporate regarding Paul?" "I am corporate," Trent declared, "and my journey is far from over." For the next hour, they meticulously extracted each raw ingredient from the cooler, carefully noting expiration dates and discarding anything that raised doubts. Shana discovered 2 containers of slaw that were 6 days beyond their expiration date. Louis stumbled upon a pile of pre-grilled patties, completely devoid of any dates. Trent maintained a calm demeanor throughout. There was no necessity for him to do so. The stillness in the kitchen spoke volumes. By 4, the atmosphere was infused with the sharp scent of bleach and the crispness of fresh preparation. The fryer oil was filtered, the cutting boards were scrubbed, and the napkins beneath the prep table were replaced with a suitable wedge. Emily approached him as she tidied up the soda station. "Will you be closing the store?" He shook his head, in disbelief. "Negative. We will execute it as it was meant to be executed from the very beginning." She paused. "Do you believe the other stores are similar to this one?" Trent expressed his hope that it wasn't the case, but he was determined to uncover the truth. She inclined her head with a measured gesture. "I appreciate your attention. Many individuals do not." Trent offered her a brief nod before redirecting his attention to the service line, where the dinner rush began to intensify. He had moved beyond mere observation. He was fully immersed in it now, and he had no plans of turning back. By midweek, Trent had subtly taken over from Paul as the acting manager, without any fanfare or official notice. Paul had not resisted. It following a short charged exchange in the office, where Trent detailed the food safety violations, overlooked grievances, and an utter absence of leadership, Paul exited without retrieving his final paycheck. He had abandoned the office keys on the desk, accompanied by a half-consumed drink. No one inquired about his whereabouts. Trent chose not to bring in a new hire for the role. There was no necessity for him to do so, not at this moment. He sought to grasp the daily pressures before placing his trust in anyone else to take the helm. On Wednesday, Trent began his shift by unlocking the front door at 8 a.m. Shayna was present, meticulously reviewing the produce delivery. Without uttering a word, she simply passed him the invoice and gestured toward a box of lettuce heads that appeared worn and partially frozen. "This is the third time this week," she remarked. "We consistently find ourselves at the back of the truck." Trent knelt, retrieved a head from the box, and gently brushed his thumb over the outer leaves. They crumbled at the faintest hint of strain. "Who is the supplier for this location?" She presented him with the packing slip. He nodded at River Point Foods. "I will reach out to procurement. We are changing our supplier. I won't allow this to be handed out." Shayna crossed her arms. "You're the first manager who has taken the time to consider the delivery." He stated that he is not a manager. "I'm the proprietor, still donning the apron nonetheless." That elicited a brief yet genuine chuckle. By 10, Emily had made her entrance and was busy arranging the toppings bar. She approached her task with a deliberate focus, arranging the containers with meticulous care. Trent observed that she had brought along her own knife set, neatly wrapped in a cloth roll. "Are those yours?" he inquired as she revealed them. "Indeed," she replied, her gaze fixed elsewhere. "I put aside my earnings for them. The ones present are consistently uninspiring." He observed her as she immersed herself in her task for a brief moment. "Are you enjoying your time at this place?" She hesitated. "I enjoy cooking and I appreciate the tranquility it brings, yet last month I came close to giving it all up." "What influenced your perspective?" She paused, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. "Shayna instructed us to hold on. Perhaps there would be an observer who recognized the unfolding events." Trent gave a single nod. Indeed, there was an individual who took action. Emily remained silent, yet there was a subtle easing in her shoulders. As the clock struck noon, the throngs of hungry patrons started to gather. Matt managed the register, while Lewis took charge of the line alongside Trent. They moved in harmony, Trent at the grill while Lewis put things together. Shayna moved gracefully between stations, monitoring temperatures, distributing gloves, and guiding Emily as she navigated her initial experience with plating a complete sandwich order. Everything flowed swiftly, yet no one hurried. For the first time since Trent had entered, the kitchen exuded a sense of order. Then, just before 1, a man in his late 40s stepped into the dining room, clad in a corporate polo and bearing a weighty demeanor. He positioned himself by the counter, surveying the restaurant, and then caught Trent's gaze through the pass window. Trent emerged from the interior, drying his hands with a towel. "How may I assist you?" The gentleman offered his hand. "Mark Jensen, overseeing health and safety compliance at River Point Foods. This morning, we received a call from your procurement team." Trent extended his hand in a firm shake. "Thank you for making the effort to be here in person. I would prefer to examine the boxes personally." Trent guided him to the walk-in cooler, revealing the damaged produce within. Mark knelt next to the box, scrutinizing the cores of the lettuce heads, then retrieved his phone and snapped several photos. He mentioned that these were packed 4 days ago. "Stuck in transit. I will mark the shipment for attention. A refund will be processed and we will review the delivery route. Thank you for your kindness. However, we will be transitioning to a local supplier beginning next week." This is not the initial concern. Mark rose to his feet, shaking off the dust from his knees. "Got it. If you reconsider, please inform me. We will take care of the refund today." Trent guided him to the door, then returned to the kitchen. Matt passed a receipt to a young student dressed in a school uniform. Shana was savoring the last bites of her grilled cheese. The cadence remained intact. He discreetly guided Shana to a secluded spot by the back sink. "Have you ever thought about taking charge of this place?" She fluttered her eyelashes. "In a sense, you're already committed to it full-time. You simply lack the designation." She appeared hesitant. "I am not. I didn't pursue formal education in that area or anything." Trent replied, "I didn't either. You hold the team united. You oversee standards. You express your thoughts when something isn't right. That's leadership." She hesitated before responding. What is the situation with Louis? I have intentions for him as well, but this environment requires someone reliable, and they already have faith in you. Shana cast her gaze toward the kitchen. Emily burst into laughter at something Louis had remarked. Matt was meticulously cleaning the soda station. I'll consider it, she remarked. By 3, the atmosphere had softened. Trent sat in the office, sifting through vendor contracts, on the dusty desktop computer, when suddenly he was jolted by the sound of shouting from the front. He emerged and noticed a man at the counter, his face flushed and voice booming. Emily stood motionless behind the register. The man snapped, I just asked her to repeat the order. She gazed at me as if I were uttering a foreign language. Trent advanced with a steady demeanor, exuding both composure and resolve. Excuse me, is there an issue we need to address? This girl is showing me some serious attitude. For years I've been visiting this place. I don't appreciate someone treating me as if I'm foolish. Emily averted her gaze, remaining quiet. Trent faced the man. She refrained from making any disrespectful comments. I stood just 10 feet away. I caught every bit of it. Perhaps you didn't pay attention, the man retorted sharply. I am the client. It would be beneficial to enhance the training for your staff. Trent maintained a steady tone. I refuse to allow anyone to address my team in such a manner. Please feel free to place your order, but I must ask you to lower your voice. Otherwise, I may have to request that you leave. The man let out a derisive laugh. You are making an error. Negative. I am not. The man shot Emily another fierce look before pivoting on his heel and exiting without placing an order. Trent shifted his gaze toward her. Are you all right? She gave a slow nod. It occurs more often than one might expect. He paused. Has anyone else treated you in that manner here? She paused, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. Not since the previous week, but prior to that, indeed. A handful of clients. One of the former shift leads often remarked that my demeanor was too subdued for the register. I was told that I made people uneasy. Trent's jaw clenched. That will not occur again. You wish to return to preparation, that's okay, but you aren't being forced out. She gave a slight nod. I prefer to remain at the register. I aspire to improve my skills. You already are. As the evening wore on and the dinner crowd began to dwindle, Trent found himself in the back office alongside Louis. The kitchen sparkled with cleanliness. The floors have been mopped and the line is stocked for the morning. Have you ever considered mentoring others? Trent inquired. Louis inclined his head thoughtfully, similar to a shift supervisor. Beyond that, a trainer for the region. You possess remarkable patience. You simplify concepts while ensuring others feel valued and respected. Louis appeared taken aback. I have spent just 10 months in this place. I've observed individuals accomplish far less over a decade. Louis offered a slight nod, lost in contemplation. If you believe I'm prepared, I'll give it a shot. I certainly do. You won't have to face this alone. I will be following up. They completed the locking up process shortly after 11. The team departed as one. There is no one left in the shadows. There's no one pushing responsibilities onto another. For the first time, the atmosphere resonated with a sense of unity. Trent lingered outside, his gaze fixed on the desolate parking lot. The sign above the store continued to display his logo, the very one he had drawn on a napkin over a decade ago. However, the name had lost its significance in recent times, only at this moment. He retrieved his phone and accessed a pristine document. At the top, he inscribed in-person rotation quarterly. There will be no exceptions. He subsequently established a direct anonymous reporting hotline for me. Ultimately, leadership is something that must be earned rather than simply assigned. He tucked it away and slid the phone back into his jacket. Tomorrow, he would explore yet another shop. Yet this evening he had finally secured a moment of tranquility. Trent made his way back to Store 6 early Saturday morning, entering through the front door this time. Without an apron, there's no name tag. He donned a somber jacket paired with a simple button-down shirt. The dining area exuded a serene stillness, punctuated only by the gentle hum of the soda machine and the faint sound of a mop gliding across the floor at the back. Matt gestured casually, his focus unwavering from the task at hand. Trent gave a slight nod before making his way behind the counter and into the kitchen. Shayna was deep into her preparations, sleeves rolled up and a clipboard firmly tucked under one arm. Emily was dismantling boxes in the rear, her movements deliberate and concentrated. The air was filled with the crisp scent of onions and the warmth of fresh bread, devoid of any sourness or unpleasantness. "Good morning," Shayna remarked, looking up. "We're lacking once more." Lewis reached out because his little sister had a fever during the night. "Thanks for the heads up," Trent remarked. "I will take care of the grill." Without a moment's pause, she passed him the prep sheet. "I have openers for cold prep, but we will require someone to monitor orders from 11 to 2. If necessary, I can drift along effortlessly. Let's observe how it unfolds. I will remain during the dinner rush." With the dawn breaking, the flow of traffic began to increase. The initial patrons began to arrive, construction workers picking up breakfast sandwiches, a nurse in scrubs requesting soup to take away, and 2 teenagers bickering about sauces. Orders arrived consistently, yet remained within a manageable scope. At 10:45, a young woman clad in a burgundy hoodie moved behind the line. She appeared hesitant, clutching a small tote bag while surveying the room. "Are you Jess?" Trent inquired. "Indeed. Paul brought me on board last month, yet I haven't received any training. He mentioned that I should simply arrive at some point." Trent gave a slight nod. "Today you have a session with Emily. She will guide you on how to handle things safely. Have you ever had experience with knives?" Jess paused, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. "There wasn't much I was meant to do, but Toby was adamant about keeping his station untouched by anyone. No issue at all. You will acquire the knowledge correctly." Emily approached Jess at the sink, offering her a pair of gloves while maintaining a calm and measured tone. Jess paid close attention, nodding in agreement as the line extended all the way to the door by noon. Trent manned the grill, expertly, flipping patties while keeping an eye on the screen for any adjustments. A sudden request arrived for 2 grilled chicken sandwiches. "Hold the pickles. With extra sauce, please." He approached the cooler, examined the label, and retrieved a fresh tray. A week prior, Shayna remarked, observing him closely. That would not have occurred. Trent kept his gaze fixed downward. "It is happening now." At 12:30, a gentleman clad in a blazer and aviator sunglasses approached the counter with a light tap. He appeared to be in his early 50s. Wearing a strained smile and holding a clipboard, he mentioned that he was searching for the manager. Trent emerged from the shadows of the grill. "I am Greg Patterson, adhering to corporate regulations. We received a notification regarding inconsistent training hours at this location. I must take a moment to sit down." "Come, let's take a stroll," Trent suggested. They ventured into the storage area, where boxes of dry goods stood arranged with precision along the walls. Greg perused his notes with a thoughtful expression. "The onboarding logs are not fully completed. There are no signatures on the food safety forms. There were no recorded line checks prior to last week. They felt overlooked." "I'm aware of my presence," Greg blinked. "You were the one who brought it to attention." "I'm the owner," Greg asserted. "Mr. Saunders, I was unaware. If I had been aware, I would have advocated for a modern onboarding system implemented across all locations, one that is digital, trackable, and integrated with performance reviews. When a form is overlooked, it is promptly flagged. I can create a proposal, execute it, and revoke Paul's access to internal systems. He should not have the authority to approve hiring or scheduling." Greg nodded, effortlessly turning to a fresh page with his pen in hand. Trent made his way back to the kitchen. Emily and Jess were artfully arranging salads on their plates. Shayna monitored the temperatures, while Matt managed the register alone, announcing receipts with a smooth, practiced cadence. Midway through the shift, a customer caught Trent's attention by the drink station. In her late 30s, she clutched a half-eaten sandwich in one hand, while the other grasped a receipt. "This place has a distinct vibe. It's cleaner and quieter than before. In the past, I would steer clear of it during the weekends." "Thank you," Trent remarked. "We are diligently addressing it. Your efforts are clearly paying off." He acknowledged with a nod and retreated behind the pass. By 3 o'clock, the pace began to ease. Trent gently tapped Shayna on the shoulder. "Let's have a conversation." They ventured outside to the rear where the sun was starting its descent behind the strip mall that lay across the lot. The pavement radiated warmth while the air hung in a tranquil stillness. "You've managed to keep this place alive," Trent remarked. "I would like to formalize my position as general manager with full authority, a salary increase and enhanced benefits." Shayna rested against the wall, pausing in silence for a moment. "I never imagined I would remain here for over 6 months." Trent remarked that the majority of us did not. Her gaze fell upon him. "Are you planning to do this at every store?" "Absolutely." She nodded slowly, one at a time. "In that case, I'll accept it." Within the confines of the room, Matt was meticulously arranging cups beside the soda machine. Jess meticulously cleaned the prep table, her sleeves slightly wet, yet her expression unwavering. Emily was meticulously labeling containers. Trent summoned them all together. "I wish to express my gratitude to each and every one of you. Though the chaos of this store was not what you anticipated, you persevered nonetheless. That truly merits acknowledgement." He presented Shayna with a delicate envelope. "Your new contract begins on Monday, granting you full GM privileges." She gazed at the envelope, yet refrained from tearing it open. "Lewis is set to return on Tuesday. He will be conducting training sessions for new hires throughout the region. Matt, you'll be trained in shift leadership. You possess the perfect timing and the intellect for it. Emily, please take care of the registration and preparation. You choose your shifts. And Jess, you'll complete the onboarding process thoroughly this week. There are no easy paths." Jess nodded, taken aback yet appreciative. Trent pressed on. "I may not be present each day, but the future of this place rests in your hands." "I'm not. Merely addressing the issues at Store 6. I am in the process of revitalizing the culture." Shayna moved ahead. "We will maintain our position." The group dispersed, resuming their duties quietly and without ceremony. Silence speaks volumes. It's all about executing the task with precision. Trent stepped outside, settled into the final booth, and observed the kitchen from afar. The pass window appeared spotless. The orders flowed consistently. The system exhibited remarkable strength. He powered up his laptop and started composing a message for all the store managers. Starting now, each store will experience an unexpected audit within the upcoming 60 days. I will be present at each location. No prior notification will be given. Ensuring food safety is essential. Respect for your team is also absent. True leadership is something that must be cultivated, not simply given. If you've ceased to pay attention to your team, I will uncover it. This organization was founded on a foundation of trust. It's time we begin to embrace that way of life. He pressed the send button. He shut the laptop, rose to his feet, and made his way back to the kitchen. More tasks lay ahead, yet this evening, Store 6 stood pristine, secure, and at last, guided by the right individuals.